Enjoying Life Over the Road, a community that champions adventure, innovation, and well-being.
Welcome to Enjoying Life OTR. My name is Cindy Tunstall and I'm your host. Today our guest is Randy Dye. He's been driving trucks since the late 70s and oh my goodness, he has some stories to share with us. We talked about everything from playing poker and fishing and just so many fun adventures while he's been driving. So I think you're going to enjoy this conversation as much as I did. So welcome to the show, Randy.
Well, thank you.
So what's everybody call you? I know they don't call you Randy. What do they call you out there?
Well, my CB handle's Doc Holliday.
Okay. I like that.
All my friends call me Doc. Even my family even calls me Doc anymore. So.
Okay, I love that. Well, tell us a little bit about what you drive and what kind of freight you're carrying, just so everybody can get to know you a little bit.
Okay, well, I'm driving a 2022 Kenworth.
Nice.
And I'm pulling a pneumatic tank and mostly haul plastic pellets, haul cornmeal, corn grits, and stuff like that. And,
yeah.
It's all a pneumatic tank where it's what they call a vacuum tank, where you can vacuum the load on, and then you got a blower on your truck to blow it off with. So
nice.
It's a 2021 tank I'm pulling.
Wow. Well, so you've been driving a long time. Have you always done this type of work, or have you done what other kind of trucks have you been driving over the years? I know you've done a lot.
Oh God, I used to be an owner-operator, and I had Freightliner Classic XLs when I was an owner-operator. I drove them all. I drove Peterbilts, I drove Max, I drove Freightliners, Internationals, Kenworths. I started out in a B61 Mac. That was with a Triflex transmission, and it had 3 sticks in the floor.
Oh,
where
wow.
You had to put one arm through the steering wheel to shift them.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Okay, so tell us a little bit. My show's Enjoying Life OTR, so I like to talk about things that you like to do outside the truck and, really just to kind of get to know you personally a little bit and kind of hear about some of your adventures out there. You have any good stories you want to share with us?
I started out when I was 15 years old. I was riding with my uncle one night, and he hauled watermelons out of Florida back up to Atlanta. I was riding with him because I usually load and unload the trucks, and we was riding along there one night, and I was only 15 years old. I had a learner's license, didn't have a full license,
Yeah.
And he got tired on the way to Atlanta, and he pulled over, and he said, you need to drive me on to Atlanta. So I'd never drove a big truck before.
Oh, wow.
I got behind the wheel at 15 and drove him all the way to Atlanta that night, and he sat over there in the passenger seat and slept.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then at 18 years old, I got my, back then it wasn't a CDL, it was called a chauffeur's license.
Right.
And the way you got a chauffeur's license back then, you had to have somebody sign a piece of paper saying you'd been driving for them. Which you still wasn't legal to drive, but if they signed that piece of paper, then you took it to the DMV and they gave you a chauffeur's license to drive a semi-truck.
Oh, wow.
So
different
he signed
these days.
it. He signed it, and I got my license, and I've been driving ever since, really.
Wow. So what do you love about this lifestyle? You've been doing it such a long time. What makes you stick with it?
I don't look at it really as a job. I always looked at it as a vacation and an adventure because, I got to go. I've been all over the United States, Mexico, and Canada. I like to do different things, and I like, to check out different lakes. And I usually carry a fishing rod with me and get out and go fishing and stuff like that. But I always looked at it as an adventure. And then I'd say later on in my driving years, back in late 90s and all, when poker was becoming real popular, at the casinos playing poker.
Yeah.
I started playing Texas Hold'em.
Oh, nice.
And so I really got to liking that, and I started stopping at different casinos and playing poker. And then when it became real popular, when a friend of mine named Chris Moneymaker won the World Series one year.
Oh, wow, fun.
They started calling me Doc Holliday because I started playing so much poker. And I would always use the saying, well, I'll be at the poker table, I'd always say, well, I'm your Huckleberry. And so everybody started calling me Doc Holliday, and all my friends, they call me Doc now. I hit casinos probably twice a week playing poker.
Oh, fun. So what do you do with the truck? They have truck parking, or how does that work out?
Yeah, most of them do. I could probably tell you where every casino is from here to California that you can park a big truck in.
Oh, nice. I have to get you on my website and put some of that on there. I have a website, so you could just put all your favorite stops, so you can be our casino hookup. The website is elotr.com. Stands for Enjoying Life Over the Road.
And my dream is to win the World Series of Poker.
Oh, fun.
I don't know if you know what that is.
I do. I'm very familiar.
But they show it on TV on ESPN every year.
Yeah, I've watched
it. 4 years ago, I was in Vegas and I got to play in the World Series.
Oh, fun.
But
okay,
I didn't
so
get
you're
into
big
the
time.
main event. Right, I didn't get into the main event. I played some other events. And I was wanting to get to the main event, but I really needed to win one of the other events to advance to the main event, because the main event is a $10,000 buy-in.
Right.
And I got to beat like 7,000 players to get to the top to win it, but it can be done.
Yeah, it can. Somebody's got to win it. Might as well be you.
Right. I have a lot of confidence, but that's my dream, to win the World Series of Poker one year.
How fun.
Yeah,
that's big money,
you know,
too. The prize is big, right? How much money you win to get that?
You get $10 million if you get first place.
Nice.
Even if you finish like ninth place, it's like $1 million.
Yeah, I know that's big money all the way up at the top there. That's awesome.
And
wow.
then it goes on down the line to like 400th place, like 450th place. You get your 10,000 back, and then it starts increasing after that. The higher up you finish, the better you can do. But I just want to finish first. I just want the title.
I know, right? How fun.
Right. Yeah, the title would be great.
Yeah, that would be great. How fun. Well, I love that you do that. That's fun. Okay, so you like to play poker, and you said you go fishing. So you take your fishing rod on there. How does that work out when you're out over the road? How do you manage to get in some fishing time?
Well, what I do is I'm riding along, and I'll see like a place, it's like if I'm riding along down by a river or something, or a lake or something, and I see a place where you can pull a truck off and park. I'll pull off and park and just jump out there and start throwing my rod in and trying to do a little fishing.
I love that.
I remember one time years ago when, it was a long time ago, when my ex-wife, my now ex-wife was with me, we was up in, I want to say it's Vermont or New Hampshire. I can't remember exactly where, but Ricky Skaggs lives there. Because we was at a hotel right up the street, and we saw Ricky Skaggs' bus. I was asking somebody, I said, what's his bus doing there? And he said, well, he lives right there. I went, oh, okay. And I was asking them about a lake, and they told me where a lake was nearby there. And back then I pulled a van trailer, a box trailer.
Yeah.
So we was going to the lake, found this place where they rented canoes. We rented a canoe and throwed it in the back of the trailer and closed the trailer doors and went down to the lake. And how they got a boat ramp and all, and everybody seen that big truck coming in the lake parking area down there. Luckily, we had enough room to park, and I backed the trailer down the boat ramp.
You did not. That's too funny.
I backed the trailer down the boat ramp with that canoe in the back. And everybody came over there, and they was all looking. I guess they thought some big boat was going to come out the back, And I knew what they were waiting on for me to open that door and pull that big fancy racing boat out the back.
Right.
And my ex, she said, what are you doing? I said, unload the canoe. She said, we could tow it to the boat ramp. I said, yeah, but this is more fun. Watch everybody. and so I opened the trailer door and reached up in there and dragged that canoe out the back door, and everybody went, oh, no. We thought you had a big boat in there. I said, well, I do. I got a canoe. And we unloaded the canoe, and everybody was cracking up.
That's too funny.
Yeah, and we put our beer in it and all that, and a canoe ain't very stable.
Right.
And we was out there, and we got out there in the middle of that big old lake, and I was cutting up with her. I said, watch it rock. Don't do that. Well, it turned over. So beer will float for a while once it falls out of the boat.
Right.
And this other guy in a big boat come up. He said, because we was struggling trying to get it turned back over. We was hanging on the canoe, and he said, y'all need some help? And I said, yeah, we need some help. He said, well, hang on, I'll get the beer for you. And he took a dip net and dipped all the beer up.
Got the priorities in order.
Yeah, he had his priorities in order, and then he helped us get it straightened up and get back out. So
That's funny.
that was pretty funny. Yeah.
Well, tell me some other fun stories. Do you have any other adventures while you're driving or any unusual freight or anything like that you want to tell us about? I bet you've seen a lot of crazy stuff out there.
Oh, you see a lot of crazy stuff, and it's getting crazier every day. You know, people with road rage and all that stuff, it gets crazier every day. But I remember one time I used to run California and back out of Florida all the time, hauling seafood out and produce back. And I took my daughter with me. She was 6 years old, and she was dying to go with me. So I took her to California, and we stopped in El Paso, Texas. She wanted to see the Mexico side. We parked the truck on the Texas side and walked across the border into Juarez there.
Yeah.
And so I was going to take her to a little shop there in Mexico, because back then it wasn't real bad down there.
Yeah, I was say you can't do that now. You wouldn't take her now.
Oh, no, not now, I wouldn't. But we went into the store, and this Mexican lady, well, she was speaking all Mexican, and I didn't know what she was saying. And she was showing my daughter some clothes, and my daughter started speaking Spanish back to her. She was saying, "No me gusto." I said, "What?" She says, "That means I don't like." I said, "Where did you learn Spanish?" She said, "Well, they're teaching it to us in school." I said, "You're in the first grade."
That's funny.
Yeah, she said, "Well, they're teaching it to us." So she could communicate with the lady in the store, and she finally found something she liked to wear, and I bought it for her, and we got back to the truck, and she put those clothes on and wore them all the way to California.
Aw, so sweet. I bet she loves that memory, too. What a fun trip for her.
She did, and one of her fun things was we stopped in Arizona, in the desert out there where all the cactuses was.
Yeah.
And there's these giant lizards out there running around, and she saw them, and she started chasing them, trying to catch them. Yeah, and I called her. She said, "What are those?" I said, "They're big lizards." She said, "No, they're Gila monsters." And I don't know where she got that at.
I don't either. That's hilarious.
But she loved trying to catch those little lizards out there.
How fun she got to go and do that with you. I bet she loves that memory with you.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Well, tell me about some other fun things you've done while out on the road. What else do you like to do? You got some more crazy stories you want to share with us?
Well, I'll tell you what I did one time. This is going to sound like Smokey and the Bandit, I guess, but I didn't have the Bandit with me. You know, you couldn't get beer east of the Mississippi back then.
Oh, Lord. How long ago was that?
Oh, God. It was in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
So I went, and I did this in my car back in 1975, I think it was. It was right after the Smokey and the Bandit movie come out. I went to Texas and got a whole truckload of Coors beer, and brought it back to Georgia.
You get meet with the parade. Everybody was glad to see you.
No, there was no parade. Everybody was glad to see me come back with that beer, though.
I know, that's right.
Everybody wanted Coors beer back then. Yeah. So back before, the CDL come in, and they had, these electronic logs like we got now, you could run a logbook and fix it any way you want to.
Yeah.
I had back then, I guess you call me kind of an outlaw. I had a driver's license for 5 different states. I had different driver's licenses in. Every time you get stopped, because back then our trucks, they run over 100 miles an hour.
Right.
And every time you get stopped, it depends on what state you got stopped in, what license you was going to show the police to get the ticket.
You're like, I got a clean record here somewhere.
Yeah, you never ran out of a driver's license, and your logbook, you'd run one logbook going out, one logbook coming back.
Got creative.
You'd always make it look good for the DOT, because I was running to California and back by myself in 7 days from Florida and back.
Oh, wow. That's
and
crazy.
We had trucks that would run 106, 110. I remember back then there was a guy at Carolinas, his name was Southern Shaker. I remember he got caught in Arizona one night running 140 mile an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And they took him to jail, impounded the truck, put the truck on the rail car, and shipped it to El Paso, Texas, because they wouldn't let him drive it out the state.
Oh, wow. That's hard to imagine. What do you think about them, the FMCSA trying to do the speed regulators on the trucks now? Have you heard about that?
I've heard about it, and I hope they don't do it. You know, Canada's did that. Well, not all of Canada, but the provinces of Ontario and Quebec, they've got them up there, got them regulated for 65. But
yeah. That's what I'm thinking. It'll be here, 65.
It'd be a bad idea because what you're going to have is a whole bunch of trucks in one line. Nobody can pass the other one.
Yeah.
And they're going to create nothing but big traffic jams is what they're going to do. If everybody's running the same speed, because when you're running up, like today I came across New York State Thruway, right? There's a lot of Canadian trucks up there running, and you're passing every one of them because they're all in a line.
Oh, yeah, because they're governed at 65.
They're governed at 65, most of them, and they can't pass each other, so they all lined up, and it does cause a traffic jam.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'd like to say something good about this company I work with. I work with a company out of Gilmer, Texas. You might have heard of it, Custom Commodities.
Wow, tell me about them.
Well, the guy that owns it, it's not a corporation or anything like that. He's the sole owner of the company, David Stevens, and he treats his drivers well. I mean, I guess I'll retire right. Well, I'm 64 years old, so I will retire here.
Yeah, nice.
But it's not like working for a big giant company. They got a couple hundred, 200 or 300 trucks is what they got, which I call a small company.
Yeah.
But they know every driver individually. They know them by name, treat us with respect. You just couldn't ask for better people. It's more like working with a family than it is working for a company, the way I look at it.
Well, I'm glad you gave them a shout out. I'm glad to hear that. There's some good people out there, so I like to honor those people that are taking care of their drivers. Tell us the name of the company again.
It's Custom Commodities out of Gilmer, Texas.
Okay, good.
And we pull pneumatic tanks and liquid tanks. That's all we pull with this company.
And how long have you been with them?
I've been here now 3.5 years.
Oh, nice. And you run all over the United States?
All over. Yes, ma'am. We do all 48, but most of our runs are from Texas back east in places and up to the Midwest, you know. And we haul different products like carbon loads. So a lot of them, they go out to California, and we have some plastic pellets. I don't know if you know what plastic pellets are or not.
No, tell me about that.
They're little bitty pellets, you know. Imagine little BBs.
Okay.
And
what
they're made
used
out
them
of
for?
plastic, and there's like millions of them inside the trailer. And you unload them into a silo, and they make your water bottles that you drink water out of, the caps for the water bottles, your Coke bottles, Pepsi bottles. They make IV bags out of them.
Oh, wow.
They make anything made out of plastic starts out with those pellets.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's not what I was thinking. Okay, good.
So just about anything made out of plastic starts out with a little plastic pellets that we're hauling.
Yeah.
And we haul like 46,000 pounds of them in one load. So
oh, wow.
that's a lot of little pellets.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, ma'am, it is. And I just love what I'm doing. I love where I'm at. I love the company I work with. Love the people and all the drivers over here. If one driver gets in trouble, the other driver's willing to help him out, you know, if he needs a hand doing something.
So good.
It's just,
I love it. And so where's your family from? Where's your home base?
and I got 2 daughters and 6 grandchildren that live
fun.
down there.
How often do you get to go back home? How long do you stay out?
Well, that's one thing I like about this. You can stay out 4 or 5 days and go home, or you can stay out 4 or 5 months and go home. Just whatever the driver wants to do.
Nice.
But me, like I say, my kids are grown. My grandkids, they're about, you know, they're still young. But I go home. I usually stay out a couple months at a time.
Yeah, nice.
I'm going home 20th of this month, and we're going to Florida for a whole week. We got a place rented down there for a week, so we're going down there and do some deep sea fishing.
Oh, fun. Nice. Yeah, my family's from Northwest Florida, so I'm like, I love that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I love the beach, so that sounds great to me.
But yeah, we're going down to Sarasota for a whole week. We got one of those. My daughter's husband, my son-in-law, his dad has like one of those timeshare things.
Oh, nice.
Gives it to them every year. So we picked Florida this year, and we're going down there
Fun. I love that.
and stay for a week.
Well, tell me about some of your other trips you've had on the when you've been on the road. So I bet you've had some crazy weather stories. You have any bad encounters with weather or anything crazy happen like that?
Oh, yeah, up through Wyoming in the wintertime sometimes is the worst. People think tornadoes are bad. I was going through Wyoming one time, and they got these high wind warning signs.
Yeah.
And I was pulling a tank through Wyoming at the time, and the wind don't affect the tank like it does a box trailer.
Right.
The warning signs was box trailers to park, but there were several of them insisted on going.
Yeah.
There was one I was coming up on right in front of me. I watched him flip over and lay on his side. The one in front of him flipped over right after he did.
Oh, wow.
And, so it had two flip over there, and I stopped to see if I could help. Thank God the drivers were okay. But
Yeah.
the truck was messed up.
Yeah.
But, Wyoming can get really bad in the wintertime. I remember one time in the wintertime, I was in Oregon. I was training. I used to train students to drive trucks, right out of school.
Yeah.
And we was in Oregon. We had a box trailer at that time. It was just a heavy snowstorm. I mean, the road was covered in snow. And the highway patrol said, roads are closed, but you can travel at your own risk. Well, my students said, well, we're going to park. We parked at a truck stop. I can't remember the name of that town. It's right there when you cross into Oregon, not too far in Oregon. But we parked for a minute, and it was coming down. And I said, well, you need to learn how to chain up. He said, chain up for what? I said, we're gonna throw chains on the wheel and see if we can't go on down the road a little further. He went, okay. So we went out there and froze to death trying to put chains on the wheels. We chained up and took off. And I did the driving. I was just showing him, look, we only want to drive about 20 miles an hour is about all I want to do.
Yeah.
And the snow had done got probably a foot and a half deep on the road.
Oh, wow.
And so we plowed through the snow, got to Cabbage Mountain. Cabbage is one of the worst mountains there is. And he said, are we going to go over that? And I went, yeah, we're going. I said, the downhill part's what's fun.
Oh, wow.
But we got to the top, and they had cleared the road off some because the downhill side's real treacherous.
Yeah.
And so we took it about 10 miles an hour down the hill, down around, they call it cabbage because the way it winds around. And we got to the bottom of the hill, and the snow had lightened up some. And we pulled off and parked. And I said, well, this is as far as we're going. He said, well, why don't we stop in here? I went, look, casino. He went, wait a minute. You mean to tell me we chained up, went over all that crap just to get to the casino? I went, well, yeah, it's a better place to park during a snowstorm. He went, I'm not believing this. He said, I don't believe you did that. He said, I don't have no money to play with. So I said, well, here is $100. You go in there and play what you want. He went, well, that makes a difference, he said.
Yeah.
He said, I cannot believe we did that.
That's funny.
And he said, what are we going to do? I said, call the company and tell them we snowed in. And we'll go when the snow leaves. We stayed there for 2 days.
That's funny. I love it. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Make the most of your opportunity to do what you love to do.
He couldn't believe it. There was only me and one other truck, I guess, running down the road that day because I only seen one other truck running with their chains on. Everybody else was parked. And we drove 100 miles just to get to the casino.
Oh, Lord, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to be stuck, I'm going to be doing something fun. Well, you have any other stories you want to share before you wrap up?
I got a lot of them, but
well, tell us one of your favorites.
well, I guess one of my favorite. It was kind of sad too, but one time when my now ex-wife, we were going to California, and I got tired. She'd never drove a big truck, so I got it going. Shifted the gears and got it in the gear I wanted to, and then I got it from behind the wheel, and I held onto the wheel with one hand while she slid over in the driver's seat and started driving. And I let her drive, and I guess I was real tired because I fell asleep while she was driving. I told her to stay in the right lane, don't pass nobody. And I woke up, and she was passing 2 wide loads in the left lane running 75 miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
But the thing about it, when we got to California, I drove, and we was headed up I-5. And Mount Shasta is just beautiful in California when you're going up 5s.
Yeah.
Especially when Shasta's just all covered with snow and it's all green and warm on the bottom.
Yeah, so pretty.
And we were riding up I-5, and I looked over there, and she started crying. I said, what's the matter with you? She said, that's just beautiful up there. I said, why are you crying? And it was kind of sad what she said. She said, I'm crying for all the blind people in the world that can't see this.
Oh, wow.
And so I thought that was kind of sad when she said that.
Yeah, so sweet though. I feel like that too when I'm driving. Sometimes, I want to take pictures of the places I'm at, and I'm like, a picture's just not going to do it justice, and you just get to have that moment by yourself. And so I kind of get that feeling too. It's like, well, man, I wish I was going to show my family where I'm at, and it's like, but it's like the pictures don't really do it justice. So it's like it's just so great.
Yeah, no, they don't.
There's so many beautiful places, so fun. Okay, I got a question for you before we wrap up. I have something I was thinking about. So what would you say to a young driver that's just getting started and they're thinking about getting into trucking and, with all the stuff you've seen, and what would you say to somebody that was interested in getting into the industry for the first time? What advice would you give them?
I would say don't let nobody discourage you, because the money right now in trucking is probably better than going to college for 4 years, because even a first-year trucker right now can make over $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
I would say if you get into it, just don't let people discourage you. Don't let people that cut you off give you road rage, and just always communicate with people. Never be afraid to ask questions. Always ask questions if you're ever in doubt about anything. Just don't do nothing that you're in doubt about, because doing something you're in doubt about could cost you your life. So.
Yeah. It's easy to forget how dangerous the work is, and we really got to take it seriously. But yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for so many people. And especially if you love to travel, if you're somebody that likes adventure and likes to be out on the road, and I think it's a great opportunity too. So much potential. And even like you hear drivers talking about the benefits of being an owner operator versus company driver. I think whatever way you want to go, they're both great. They both have benefits, and whichever way you want to go, there's plenty of money to be made in trucking. So
right, either way is good. Just remember one thing about being an owner operator, though: they don't take taxes out on you. And they don't have benefits, like health insurance and stuff like that. But the main thing is they don't take taxes out. See, I got in trouble with that, because you got all that money in your pocket that the company pays you, but at the end of the year they're going to give you a 1099.
Yeah. You got a big bill coming.
Right, that's a big deal, because you really need to put up a percentage of whatever you're getting paid, and you're paying all your Social Security. Where if you work for a company, they pay half of it. So
yeah.
I mean, right now it's good either way. Owner operators would feel like today it was $6.48 a gallon, but I drive a company truck. The company pays for it, but they get a fuel surcharge. The higher the fuel goes, the more the loads are going to pay the company or the owner operator.
Yeah.
But we as consumers, we're going to pay for it at the end, because they got to pass the cost along somewhere.
Yeah, they sure do. Yeah, it's crazy. I never thought I'd see the prices that we're seeing now. It's so crazy. Wow.
I would never suggest starting out as an owner operator. If you start out, I'd suggest driving at least 5 or 6 years before you even think about leasing a truck or buying a truck.
Yeah, there's so much to learn. A
lot of these lease purchase plans are not very good. There are very few companies that have really a good plan on a lease purchase and stuff like that. You can make more right now as a company driver than you could on a lease purchase, really.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, Doc, it was sure great meeting you, and it's great that you came on the show. You have anything else to share before you want to close out?
My advice is keep the bottom side down and the top side up.
Sounds good. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Doc. It sure is a pleasure meeting you, and I am so grateful for all of your safe miles and all you've done to keep our roads safe over all these years. So I just want to say thank you so much, and it's really an honor to share your story.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I got a couple more years probably, and I'm going to probably hang it up, but I'm going to stay here a couple more years.
Yeah, enjoy it while you can. You're living a good life, and it's sure nice meeting you. Hey, if you know somebody that would like to be on the show, get in touch with me, or maybe you want to be on the show. I'd love to share your story. My email address is in the show notes, so reach out. Love to chat with you about that. Do it all over the phone. Super easy. Anyway, look forward to that. I want other people to hear about our community. We have the website elotr.com. I've created a community that's just for truck drivers, and want it to be our place where we can share our favorite stops, maybe share how we overcame the truck parking challenge when we're trying to do some sightseeing, or find fun things to do on our downtime. It's a place we could share our pics of our truck. And anyway, I hope you hop on there. I'd love for you to join our community, elotr.com. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in today, and I sure appreciate you, and I look forward to sharing another great show with you next week. Hey, y'all be safe out there, and by all means, enjoy the journey.